Since so much of what tonight is about and this weekend is about something that happened 25 years ago. Halfway through my life. I am 50 years old, dawning a millennium. We are dawning a millennium. We are professionals at this. Those people who are part of this program this weekend and those people who showed up here tonight. We dawn millenniums. It is a profession. So once again, we have gathered to gain a perspective about what we should be focusing on dawning a millennium. I write about it in books. And what makes me think that I am smart enough to be able to come up here and talk about in a group of people who can diagnose at the cellular level what is out of balance in your life and give you drops of water in a bottle that will rebalance that crap and make you sane again. Now, in my life, as you hear this story, just look at this person as a 50-year-old guy from South Carolina. I may sound like I'm from a foreign country with this. I don't speak English. I speak Southern American. And I speak it proudly. But what we're dealing with is something that occurred 25 years ago. And as I have watched it evolve, so you get a good idea on that this was a vision. As I set up to download out of my laptop, which I'm going to show it to you. This is my laptop. I'm going to download a couple of pieces of paper. I'll download just a tad of information. So when you looking for those, how many of you guys are visitors here tonight? Okay. You're among friends. They're a little cosmic. But I'll bet you this. They can know more about your health and your business and then a way to go do something about it that makes you co-responsible with the healing process. Makes you co-responsible. Not just a pill, but a style of life that puts it in harmony, and you can walk out of here being healthy. For all of you that are here, that came to this meeting, you always wonder why you do something. Why do you do it? Why do you get up and have people try to humiliate you as you try to help understand through a deeper spiritual level that the body looks like this? That it is nothing but energy and swirling energy contacted in a cellular level at a physical point, and it moves outward from there. This is what you guys believe. Well, that just makes you smart. So tonight, as we dawn a millennium, why do we do this? Why are you who you are and at this program as people who do diagnosis and help find harmony and balance in the lives of people? Because you love to see miracles. How you will overpower the establishment protocol is not because you take them on their level. You lure them to take you on your level. The sheer art of mind and science combined that you see a miracle exactly where the problem is in the body, mind, and energetic bodies of a person and can heal them. The whole basic nature of healing is to watch miracles. Birth. Miracle. The transition of leaving this world. A miracle. And every moment in between is a miracle. A miracle. Now, the basis of my talk tonight is just based on this. I'm this jerk from South Carolina. One day, I never contemplated my navel. I never studied with a great guru. I didn't read any cosmic, biblical, historical information. God called me on the telephone. And the only burning bush I saw was me. That's how I got into the exploration of where we are tonight. Death and dying, its place and its power, its value, and the need to understand it. I was hit in the neck by a bolt of lightning. September the 17th at 7:05 p.m. 1975. Talking on the telephone. Hit in the head by a bolt of lightning. It ran down my spine. It welded the nails of the heels of my shoes to the nails in the floor, through the nails that were holding down the floor, and threw me in the air, suspended me in the air, slammed me back down, and bent the bed frame. Dead for 28 minutes. Completely paralyzed for 6 days, partially paralyzed for 7 months. Took me 2 years to learn to walk and feed myself, and I lost over 50 pounds in the course of it. They never gave me a full week to live. And they sent me home to leave this world. The first hospice patient I ever had was me. 1975. Now, just to show you how brilliant I am, I got struck by lightning talking on the telephone in 1978. In a bedroom, in a different place, 13 miles away. I want you to truly understand the rocket scientist that you have before you. You know, we're trying to figure out who's the smart one in here. You turkey's the smart one. What'd you pay to come here? I got about $700,000 in this. I mean, just listen to who's talking to you guys. Got struck by lightning again. It only knocked me unconscious. And 45 minutes, and I slammed against the wall and knocked the whole window frame outside into the yard. So I don't talk about that one much. Then it started getting good to me again. And I had heart failure in 1989 at 40 years old. I had heart failure. Good night, Irene. And I had to have emergency open heart surgery. And just so it was getting even more interesting to me, in 1997, at 47 years old, I got on an airplane and threw and exploded 3 subdural hematomas and had a massive grand mal seizure. My brain exploded and started pumping blood at 35,000 feet in a pressurized cabin. And I had to have emergency brain surgery. And what happened to me was I had 3 near-death experiences out of 5 times going through surgery or being struck by lightning. I had 3 near-death experiences. Sometimes they were good to have, and sometimes they were not. How much you miss home. How much you miss home. That's the downside. Is that how much you'll miss home. The upside is 50% of everything I ever been told was BS. And 25% of the rest of it is suspect. And if anybody tells you from this moment on, when you leave this room, that you're going to die, that's a liar. You ain't going to die. It ain't going to happen. Ain't nobody you know is going to die. Just checking. You're only going to live. My rules that I believe with all my heart. You choose to come here and you're chosen to come here. And you come per breath. You breathe in for you and out for spiritual unfoldment. You choose to come here, and you're chosen to come here. And you have come per breath. You breathe in for you and out for spiritual unfoldment. Now, how I come to that conclusion, I'll tell you. And why do I believe that we would have all come together tonight? And just like Spence and the Hubble telescope. I have a Hubble telescope story I'll tell you too. But let's look at our age group. How many in this room are 32 years old, or let's just say, how many people in here are a little older than 32 years old? Okay. Now, how many people in this room have a relative somewhere in the world tonight? Raise your hand. How many people in this room have a friend somewhere in the world tonight? Raise your hand. How many people are in this room tonight? Raise your hand. Okay. This conference is about healing, staying in harmony and balance, about people who can do, without any question, analyze where you are in all of the bodies that I'm going to tell you and show you and talk to you about. But we as a family tonight came here for this reason. If you have a family member anywhere in the world tonight and you're 32 years old, you have an 81% chance that that family member is going to turn to you in terminal illness, catastrophic illness, or terminal disease before they turn to clergy or before they turn to a doctor. You have an 81% chance that if you have a family member alive on this earth today, that family member will turn to you in terminal illness, traumatic illness, or terminal disease before they turn to clergy, before they turn to a doctor. If you have a friend anywhere in the world that's not, you have a 61% chance that that friend will turn to you in case of traumatic illness or terminal disease. 61%. And believe it or not, you have a 100% chance you're going to turn to you. So when you got 81, when you got 100, 81 and 61% chance of who you love and who has loved you. That's what you're doing here. Because somebody's got to be able to step up to the plate. Somebody has to be able to be in control, and someone has to be able to help make the right decisions at the right times, because they have turned to us, and it's about our love for them and their love for us. And that's where we are tonight if you're 32 years or older. That's where we are as a family. That's where we are tonight. We the ones that got the job. If you came here tonight and you were going to tell your friends what you were going to do, you're going to go to some bio-something kind of conference and learn how to, somebody can touch something to your finger and tell you that you have an abscess tooth. Let me put your finger and go through a list of a bunch of numbers and figures and the biggest bunch of computer crap I ever saw in my life. I mean, this is, go get tested. I love talk like that. And that I broke a cap about 4 days before, and I had a little infection. And on this sheet of paper, going down it, they stopped and said, "Oh, you have a little infection in the right side, on the right side in the back of your jaw." Ain't no way in hell they could know that. There is no way in hell they could know that, folks, except they did. And all of a sudden, what happened to me in a vision when I'm dead keeps coming back up in my face. There is no escape from that. There's a life after death for me. I have no escape from it. None. And here's the villain. Let me show you a villain. This is who tested me. This is the tester right here. Is this not an evil-looking person? So, we have to be, if we came here and somebody said, what are you going to do tonight? And you said, oh, well, I'm going down to have some abscess tooth checked out with some jetto, some kind of whatever Dannion said. And listen to this hillbilly talk about death for 2 hours and 10 minutes. You want to come? How many of your friends would be with you tonight? So we jamming. They never know it. And when you tell them what you did, they won't even want to hear it. But what did we do? We came to compound our love, our trust and belief in that we are capable of handling our health, our mind, our consciousness, our hearts, and making the right spiritual, emotional, and mental decisions about the quality of our love. Our love. To step up and make the difference, and to come here to look at death, and to look at how to find a balance and a harmony in your whole life through pieces of equipment that didn't even exist when I had the vision. But I knew they were coming. Because we are changing. The universe is changing. Don't get so important about how serious you think you are. Because we're a part of a bigger, more powerful movement in time, space, energy, in like Johann Kepler, in the spheres of sound and music. We're a part of a symphony far greater than each of you thinking you are a flute player. We're part of a great symphony. And it's going to tune up, and it's going to play, and it's just whether we're ready or not. It ain't ask us anything. Like a person who sails the great sea. You think the ocean gives a darn? Everybody see the Perfect Storm? Do you think the ocean was worried a little bit about some swordfish? She'd drown every one of them. She don't care. I mean, I am a sailor, so I understand what a rusty fitting is. I understand what a plugged trim cock is. You're gonna drown and die. So this symphony's coming. In your hearts, you need to start getting ready. And you can bring it down to the basic physical level of your mom and dad, your brother and sister, and your best friend, all the way to the highest spiritual spheres of levels of cellular energy, life, understanding. Don't leave here, you visitors who thank you for coming from my heart, without information about this program. Don't do it. So, since we are dawners of a millennium, I don't know how often you get to dawn a millennium. I think you only get to do it once. But there's probably a few reincarnationists in here that think they get to do it all the time. But we are the ones in this room this night to try to set in motion the changing of our heart and our harmony about the people we love. So what does that make your breath this night? Sacred breaths. Your breath is sacred this night. If you choose to come here and you're chosen to come here, and you came for a breath, and you breathe in for you and out for spiritual unfoldment, you know who's getting cut short? You. Because the spiritual world will transmit in the breath you breathe out exactly what it's trying to accomplish on this earth. How deep you breathe in is the part you better worry about. Because you're breathing in for you, but when you're breathing out, the system is in play. And it will manifest on this earth. None of you will fail your spiritual mission on this earth. It won't happen. Maybe 1 or 2%, okay? But you don't fail. I have the pleasure of knowing none of you can fool me. I have seen us. I know what we look like. I know the system by which we go home. And I know the way back here. So don't think you can fool me. You are a great, powerful, mighty, awesome spiritual being. You are a legend. You breathe holiness into your systems so that the spiritual world can move through you into a rock sitting in the middle of a silly solar system in what we call the Milky Way. And this rock, and every breath we breathe in and every breath we breathe out, either makes it more holy, more reverent, more sacred, more spiritual, or less. And we create it every minute we breathe it. Isn't it amazing what you discover when you don't breathe? Wait till I get to telling you about being dead. It's a blast. So here I am, thinking I know everything. You know how a guy from South Carolina is. And redneck. And we fundamentalists. You know, I come down, here's my religious perspective. Guys, when I grew up kicking people's butt. Tough guy, big boy. I am 6'4", I weigh 240 pounds. I can knock the thunder out of you. Football, or anything I got to hit somebody. Oh, then I discovered the United States Marine Corps. Oh, God, was I in for a great time. They let you shoot people and pat you on the back and pay you $800 a month to do it. I mean, what else would a redneck want? You know, and I come from the, you know, and the people say, well, Dannion, don't you feel bad about that? I said, what? I come from the deep south, man. Everybody goes to hell where I come from. Right, Cari? Everybody goes to hell where I come from. When I was a kid now, this is my religious perspective. And please bear with me, everybody. I'm sorry if, you know, I offend you, but, you know, what you going to do? Kill me? So when I was a kid, I used to watch these preachers in the South, you know, and they're on television, and they walk up to you, and they start talking to you about somebody named Jesus. Now, you know, I'm about 6, 8, 9 years old, and I didn't get it. You're going to hell, boy. My daddy once told me in a joke, he said, you know how you can tell the difference between a Methodist and a Baptist in the liquor store in South Carolina? He said, the Methodists will speak to you. And my dad would make fun of stuff like that, and because he wasn't afraid of all that damnation. So when I got a little age on me, I started to study, try to figure out what they were trying to tell me like this. So I figured it out. And I want to demonstrate to you how I came to that conclusion. Jesus, Lord, come here and save these savage heathens. And Lord, let me scare them so bad. I get a little extra money to get me a new Rolex. Oh, man. Is that what it sounds like to you? Well, guess where fundamentalism came from? I concluded at about 14. The guy who has the patent on preparation H. Think about it. Is that boy having a good time? I'll bet your preparation H stock goes up every Monday morning. What you want to bet? Now watch us, everybody. Because our breaths are sacred this night, because our breaths are sacred, and because we're here for our family, our friends, and ourselves, we can take a moment to be light. And that's what I'm trying to do. You can't scare me with my life and threaten me. You can't even internally damn me. You can't do none of that to me, except make a fool out of yourself when you start talking it. Because I say, well, if you believe all that stuff, here's what let's do. I got it figured out. You believe all that stuff and you've been saved and you talking all that stuff, okay, fine. Come up here and stick your tongue in this. I'll tell you how I got this bit of knowledge. Come on up here and try your shot. We'll wait for you to get up, see what you got to say about it. You know what I mean? South Carolina, you know. So all of a sudden, guys, I ruled the world. Everything to me was funny, and everybody was funny. And I'd been in the Marine Corps, and I had a little experience in the Marine Corps. And I learned to be a part of a world that we call proxy wars, or clandestine. And I lived and operated in that for 5, almost 6 more years. And I got a little cynical. Governments, institutions, religions. When you're fighting wars, or you're even a part of it, if you're a shipping clerk or a truck driver, it doesn't take you long to figure it out. It's just hooey. It's ways to get us to draw sides against each other, to perpetrate other control mechanisms. Except maybe World War II. So I'm ruler of the world. I could knock out at least half of you in here. And that's all that made me feel good. And I'm talking on the phone. And I am hit in the head by a bolt of lightning. And it knocked me in the air, suspended me in the air, slammed me back down on that bed, and whoa, was the party going. I had no idea what hit me, what had happened to me. I had no concept, guys. It was so painful. It's like drinking battery acid. I could not move. I couldn't move. I couldn't figure out which way to go. And my mindset was it was a 105 millimeter or an 88 millimeter round, or I'm trying to smell to see if it's Semtex or C4, whatever kind of plastic explosive it was. This is my mindset. You know, and I'm trying to figure out where my weapon is and how many rounds I got and how I could slide to get to the wall no matter what it was, because that means in my mindset the perimeter had been breached. You know, this is Dannion Brinkley's mindset. The perimeter had been breached. And no matter how bad you hurt, no matter what you do, you better lock and load or you're going to be dead. Because it's them or it's you. Period. And all of a sudden, with more pain than you can grip, I'm out. I'm in this blue-gray place, and I am calm, and I am safe, and everything, there is nothing hurting. And I roll over, and it was like rolling over. You know, the only way I can try to describe it is like that. And I saw me lying across the bed. You're going to have some cool realizations when you're dead, everybody. It's the most interesting time of your life, especially between the time it happens and when you finally realize you're dead. I mean, things are really cool. When you realize you're dead, just things are thrilling. You know, but while in between, before you realize it, because you are more alive when you're dead than you've ever been alive when you thought you were alive. People say, Dannion, you had a near-death experience. I say, that's a near-death experience. You turkeys is having a near-death experience. And I can promise you this is as close to dead as you ever going to get. You will never get any deader than you are right now. And I'll tell you something else. I've been over there 3 times. I didn't go to hell, so you turkeys ain't got a chance either. Because if I didn't go to hell, what? Get over it. It ain't going to happen. You can worry about it and act weird and hope it happens. And if you really want it to happen, like this lady asked me, she said, Mr. Brinkley, I want to ask you something. You keep talking about all this nice stuff and everything good, and you're such a jackass. Yes, ma'am. What's the point of this? And what's the point of this conversation? She said, well, what about hell? What about hell? I said, well, sugar, every time I go over there, they don't bring it up. And I damn sure don't bring it up. But I tell you this, honey. When you get through that tunnel and you see that being of light, you start yelling, where's hell, where's hell, where's hell? Don't you stop till somebody tells you, baby. They won't bring it up, I ain't bringing it up. Nope. There's some things about the other world I don't want to know. It takes a lot of deep breathing to laugh. And whatever it takes me to get you breathing deep, I'm going to do it. Laughter makes you breathe deep. Makes that stomach laugh. And we're making fun of everything that we always have to face and what we thought we had to be afraid of. Because we're here for our moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we're here for ourselves. We can make fun of whatever it is that scares us, because if death doesn't scare you, or scare somebody you love, you wouldn't be here. So we laugh. I can guarantee you ain't going to die. I can guarantee it. It ain't going to happen. But you know what that makes forever? A lot longer than you thought it was. Man, when you realize you're going to be you forever, you better go and figure out something to do. Because you're going, I don't know if whoever teaches you about your religion, that floating in the clouds and hanging out with your daddy and listening to harp music and watching angels, that would bore them in about a week. It would. Think about it. Who are they trying to put that off on? It is 1 billion times more magnificent than that. Heaven is like digital compression. You can go anywhere, anytime, anyway. Any wave, any movement. For you computer people, digital compression. On a stream of light the size of a pin. You know, we had 630 on your AM dial when you had amplitude modulation. Then you have 101.3 on your FM dial, frequency modulation. Well, then you have digital compression, and you have how you send signals through some atmosphere or whatever it is they do, mobile, whatever that is. But I know this, on that 101.1, that 0.1 of that frequency, you can put 23,000 signals. That means you can transmit 23,000 signals of energy. And at that same point, you can put a laser beam, you can put a gamma ray, you can put a modulated frequency, an amplitude frequency, and it'll still do the same thing. So when you hit heaven, and once you clear the levels I'm going to tell you, you compress like a rainbow. You can become a rainbow, and you move in any direction simultaneously or any place you want to go, and then you probably explore 55 billion places at once, and then pull the rest of you to the place that brings you the most interest and explore that. That's as tough as it's going to get, everybody. Suffer, okay? But there's some little things you're going to have to go through to get there, because you choose to come here, and you're chosen to come here, and you've come for breath. And this is a job, and I'm going to prove that to you. I'm going to prove it to you by something I have witnessed, which is the greatest teaching tool I will give you this night. And I believe this in pure arrogance. I know. How I know is I have had 3 of these experiences. And I've had these experiences. I didn't stump my toe, everybody. I got struck by lightning. I was dead at 28 minutes. Open heart surgery. No chance to survive. Brain surgery. Spent 3 years of these 50 years in the hospital. 3 years in the hospital. Or convalescent. Almost 5 total years. But what I did is I took what I've learned. For 23 years I've been a hospice volunteer. And 9 days ago I logged 8,000 hours at the bedside. 8,000 hours at the bedside of veterans. 861 hours at the bedside in the year 2000. I formed an organization called Compassion in Action. Compassion in Action is a volunteer hospice organization, volunteer trained bedside sitters. And by the federal government statutes, they log 27,132.3 hours at the bedside of veterans. Another 30,000 in the civilian population in the year 2000. I've trained and I've recruited more than 28,000 hospice volunteers, and I have trained under my command a legion of 4,600. And in the last 3 years, we have logged 98,470 hours. A fighting team called the Twilight Brigade. So I not only can get myself up from the dead, I can take it to the streets. Take it to the streets. Well, that's where I think I have the confidence that you can trust me this night. That you can take these moments and trust me with the hands of who you love and who love you and who you love the most, the divine nature of yourself. So we become better healers and better aware of the power that is ours. You're not a poor, pitiful, stupid little human trying to have a mystical experience. You are legends. By the time you took your first breath over here, you were among the best they could ever send to do the job you were sent to do. And you must empower yourself with that. Because I'm going to prove it to you tonight. You won't escape me. Ain't going to happen. Nope. And you know what? You don't want to. You want to think everybody else is funny as we all are tonight. If we can make this much fun of ourselves, who is serious? You know, I tried the Catholic Church. Now, a lot of you are reforming Catholics, I know. But I went over to the Catholic Church because I was trying to understand what religion was. It led to me to get a phone call, so I don't work at it near as hard. But have you ever been to a Catholic church? Okay? Well, everybody from South Carolina knows that a Catholic church is where the Antichrist lives. True. And he has these little houses around, and he's the evil deal. So I want to go check it out. So I eased on over to the Catholic church. I came in and sat down. And they were playing this music like in a Boris Karloff movie. Big old pipe on. I said, whoa, this is going to get rich. Then these guys with these dresses on come out, and they all had a cup and a rag. And they walked around this table talking to themselves. I couldn't figure it out. Then they all put the rag down and the cup. And we sat down. This guy comes out and we stand up. Then we sit down. Then we kneel down. Then we stand up. Then we sit down. Then we kneel down. Then we stand up. Then we sit down. Then we kneel up. Then we stand up. Then we sit down. Then we kneel. Then we roll. We get up. We stand up. We sit down. And that crowd was getting the best of me. And I'm kind of whirling, and I said, no. Who invented this religion? And I figured it out. The person who has the patent on arthritis, pain, formula, etc. Then it started getting real good. Here comes a guy with two dresses on and a dunce cap. And he's got this pot. He's swinging this pot. Smoke's going everywhere. He's saying, my daddy plays dominoes better than your daddy. And I thought, who cares? Now I'm completely worn out. My knees hurt, my legs hurt, my heart's palpitating, I can't breathe, and I got a headache. I don't need a religion like that. Jack LaLanne must have been one of the first priests. Or that Cabo guy you see on TV. So we got religion out the way. Now let's get to spirituality. Because here's the system. You will lift out of your body, and it's over. And you will be so happy. You won't know what to do. Some people are given choices. I was never given a choice. Never. Or you would be listening to Spence tell them lousy jokes. Because I like you okay, and y'all pretty nice people, but I have to choose between over there and over here. Tough luck. When you lift, you are free. I watched them work on my body. Remember where I am now. I'm floating above. I told you everything I knew about religion and what I thought about it. Because after you get about 25 years old and you work for the government, and you are called plausible deniability, expendable asset. But they paid you $800, so you thought you were somebody. Get it in a little paper bag, And then, from horrendous pain, I turn and I watch myself. My wife, Sandy, that's standing down the hall, stepped in the doorway, and she said, "Wow, that was a close one." You right, baby. She saw my shoes. She comes running down the hallway. Now, I always knew that she was beautiful, everybody. Always knew. I didn't lose it. Oh, thank you. I always knew she was beautiful. But I never knew how beautiful she was until that day. And she ran down the hall and was working on me. The guy who was on the other end of the phone came over immediately. TM. He's a friend of mine to this day, Tommy. And as I looked at them, they had these fields of energy around them. They were ever unfolding things that looked like this. And when Tommy would go to say something to Sandy, their energy would combine, and it would be even more beautiful. It was the most beautiful stuff you could even think about looking at. And as I was watching them, what got me was I didn't have one of these energy bodies around me. I was looking a little gray. I didn't know much about ethereal energies and auric energies and auric bodies, and I didn't know a lot about that kind of stuff. I only paid attention to when you put the bullet in, the physical one. That was the one I was most focused on. But I stopped and I decided to look at me, and I put my hand up. Let me show you what you look like. You look like this. This is what you are. You are a being like this. You shimmer. You radiate. When you stretch your arms out, your arms are like this. And you're silver and silky, and you radiate, and you're like this. You spread your arm out, and this going in 1,000 different directions, and ever always unfolding and ever transforming. This is what you look like. This is the real you. This is not you. You are attached to it because it is a needed vehicle to achieve what you need to accomplish. But don't forget it. This is not you. You have to maintain it because there are multiple bodies or worlds attached to just it. We have physical bodies, but they are almost worth nothing if it's not properly maintained, so that these other bodies are just as important as the physical one. And it needs air. It needs oxygen. It is the key to how everything works. Oxygen and your breath. Breathing in and out in harmony, knowing the sacredness of your breath. Because these breaths we're breathing tonight are for the protection of our loved ones, ourselves, and our friends. What greater breaths could you apply to the value of your love than is established this night? I don't know of any. But you're here doing that. Their health, their well-being, and their understanding of the deep spiritual nature that we all are, and that you are the one that has to represent it. Because it's your job. So when you realize that, they were going to load me in the ambulance. I watched Tommy, and when the paramedics got there, everybody, I watched these paramedics. Their energy was tight around them. They were just doing their business. You know, they weren't all emotional as Sandy and Tommy, and their energy stayed tight around them. Like we listen to someone talking to us, or we listen to music. We listen to someone talking to us, we're focused. When we listen to the music, we spread out and let it envelop us, cover us and wrap us, surround us and bathe us, submerge ourselves in it. See the difference? And I'm trying to find in the English language words that give us that. So I'm watching it. They load me in this ambulance. Now, growing up, an ambulance was a Cadillac, Oldsmobile, or a Buick. And the only difference between an ambulance and a hearse was how many lights it had on the front and the back. Right? Yeah, I mean, you know, well, this was a truck. They had a truck with this cab on the back, like what was modern now, but 1975, I'd never seen one. So they hauled my body in this truck, and I figured I'd go along with it, you know. I was still kind of liking it, you know, I didn't quite figure the thing out. I get in there, and I got a fireman, an EMS, and you know how firemen and EMS is, the policemen, they kind of like really like their jobs. You know, they get into that. This guy's pounding on my chest. He's sticking his needle in my arm. He got him a little headset on. He just talking away and carrying on. I was paying attention to all those drawers. What's in all those drawers and those little tubes and stuff? And how does that thing work? And what do you do with this? And what happens if you push this? And, you know, and all of a sudden he says, he's gone. He's gone. And I thought, gone where? What's his name still there? The EMS guy's there and I'm here. Where are we all gone? And I look over his shoulder and I look down at my face and I thought, you know, I always thought I was a much better looking guy than that. This is the truth, everybody. I'm telling you about being dead now. And I'm an expert on being dead. I got it down to an art form. And when I die, I don't just do some little wimpy death. I do something dramatic dying, okay? And I said, whoa. And this tunnel forms. This tunnel. It's moving whether I'm moving or not. And I begin to be pulled down it. And you know, we're taught to be afraid. We're taught to be afraid of the unknown and where our parents go and where our friends go. I'm going to tell you what it's like to go down that tunnel. I'm going to tell you what it's like so you can get scared as hell. Here's what it's like. Imagine you're 7 years old and it's Christmas. And you go into grandmother's, and she's rich. And you're her favorite grandchild. She lives in Anaheim. And her last name is Disney. And when that tunnel starts to form, you at the red light. When that light turns green, you go down the tunnel, turn right, pull up in the driveway, Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, and Grandmama's there waiting for you. What are we doing to our loved ones? What are we doing? That's where they're going. And that's what they're going to feel. 70 cents of every dollar in health care is spent in the last 6 months of life to extend life an average of 16 days. And if you work in hospice and you come anywhere near it, you know that's the biggest bunch of BS you'll ever see. That is the torturous murders. And whatever got us to that, we came here tonight to change it. If nowhere else but in our own lives and our own family and our own friends, or at least to create a new concept that there's a choice. There's another choice. There's another choice. And we're able to present it because you took a little time tonight to trust me. To trust me. Because I'm you. You're me. We're going in a millennium. And we're living out here together, trying to make a better world. loving each other and caring and looking for the understanding of what's really real. We may not know all what's true, but we know what we're being told is not. And we're not afraid, because we love ourselves, to come out here and search for that answer. When you get through that tunnel, you will come into a place of the most bright, brilliant, beautiful light that you can conceive of. You will never, ever even imagine anything as beautiful as it. It is this times billions. It becomes like diamonds, and it shimmers, and you can spread out and completely disappear into it. Or pull yourself back down into a light, a being that looks like a rainbow, always moving and swirling. But you can spread your arm out and go into it and just move all the way into it. Or you can come back and you never lose your consciousness of who you are. Now think of this. Do you know what happens, like if you were having a situation where you got caught by your grandfather as opposed to getting caught by your father? Well, this being of light is going to come and appear to you. And the feeling you're going to get is like granddaddy catching you. You know, you can sweet talk him out of it, but you're still caught. This is the feeling, man. This is that feeling you're going to have. There's a lot of names for that being. Yahweh, Jehovah, Jesus. Everybody's got him a name. That being is you. You come and meet you. You do. If you think that all of you in your true spiritual embodiment is sitting in this body, right here in this room, you're stupid. Morons. I don't have any problem with telling it to you. And if you don't believe it, let's give it a go. You have never left your connectiveness to the spiritual world. You have never left it. It has not gone anywhere, and you are still there. A job description. To come, to choose to come, and to be chosen to come. Breathe in for you an alpha spiritual unfoldment, because you are the vessel by which divinity can come through all these bodies of yours and manifest on this earth. Celtic tradition. A landscape never knows how beautiful it is until it is gazed upon. Until that moment, it only knows it exists. How many landscapes have you looked at and admired them and loved them? And divinity moved. How many children do you see play? How many people have you said thank you to? Whose hand did you touch? Can I help you with that bag? Did you see somebody who's been working in their garden, and they toil, and you stop and say, it's beautiful? All the power of the holiness that is moves into that energy level. Moves right there. And you was breathing while it was happening. And they just hanging around, watching you breathe, watching everything that you breathe in, every thought, every color, every tone, every emotion. And then they push a little of it together, push a little of it apart. But it's mostly like when you stop at the airport to get one of those yogurts and they put the little candy things on the top. They sprinkle all that love on the top, and when you breathe all that weird, cosmic, dysfunctional crap of yours back out into the world, they put just enough love with it where somebody appreciates it. What? Look at your husbands, wives, girlfriends, friends, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and cousins. You think they don't put up with a bunch of dysfunctional us? Absolutely. But that's the beauty. And what you do once you meet this place, you have a chance to forgive yourself. It's weird. I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out how to forgive myself because I could still see all that evil stuff I've done or feel it. But guess what happens then? You have a panoramic life review. Now let me show you how it's going to get good to you now. You will have a 360-degree panoramic life review. You will see your life pass before you in 360 degree. You will see the moment you were born to the last breath you breathed. Until I had that panoramic life review, I didn't know I was dead. I didn't catch on until I saw the lightning get me. the last thing I saw. But you not only will have a 360-degree panoramic life of you, you will watch it from a second-person point of view as though you were your best friend, watching yourself go through it. Not you going through it, but you watching your best friend. Like we have friends who junkies. We have people who are nuts, won't pay attention. We're in bad relationships. And no matter how much you tell them, they won't listen. But you can just watch them and love them and hope and be close to them. So what it'll teach you is this. Sympathy is for anything other than a human being. If you have sympathy for something, then you have set in motion a psychological nature that wherever it is that you are yourself believes you're in a better condition than it is. It is empathy. Be them, not judge them. Watch it from a second-person point of view. Be them. Don't be judging them. Having sympathy doesn't play itself out in reality. Now, for an animal or a plant or a global perspective, you can have sympathy. But empathy one-on-one? One-on-one's empathy. And then you will literally become every person that you've ever encountered, and you will feel the direct results of your interaction between you and that person. Listen to the moans. You indoctrinated, mind-controlled, sinning, worthless dogs. That is garbage. Now for me, for every one good thing I had 50 bad. I had to be everybody I ever hurt, caused pain, suffering. Oh, God. And I had to feel it as they felt it. When you hear love thy neighbor as thyself and do unto others as you would have others do unto you, remember, that's what I'm grounding. That's what you're doing. Everything that you've ever done to anybody, you just did it to yourself. You will see your life pass before you in 360-degree panorama. You have missed nothing. You know how many hairs was on the head of the girl who sat in front of you in the second grade. If you looked out of the window on the first day you were born, if you could have seen out of the window, you'd know how many cars, what car they were, how many trees were, and how many leaves was on each tree. Anything that you wanted to focus on. But what you're going to be focusing on is the intent of why you did whatever you did. Intent. Not what you did, why you did it. Not what you did, why. If it was trying to do the best thing that you knew to do with your heart open and you drown that sucker, that won't take but a moment. But you could have said a single sentence that you knew was how bad it was going to hurt them, and you're going to feel that same pain. And that's the game. Now the book of judgment. You know who judges you? You do. And do you know how you judge yourself? I'm going to tell you. If whatever you hold divine could not come today, or if God could not come today, and God sent you in the life you just reviewed, what difference did God make? God couldn't come today. Just getting the nails done. Or he was off messing with Michael and with Gabrielle and Michael. They was shooting pool somewhere. And they sent you. In the life you just reviewed, what difference did God make? Do you know who doesn't even come up in it? You. This is a job. You are a professional, whatever it is you came to divinely do. It's a job. It ain't about you. And in the course of it, you get a chance to close yourself off by your own choosing. You put yourself where you are. Now think of what I have to think about is how often I keep thinking I can get up from the dead because I'm such a hard-headed prick. I put myself in those situations. In the true essence of what I know to be, I can't understand it while I'm over here a lot of times, but it doesn't mean I don't do it. Now, if you think I test spirit, you think you test the belief in spirit, I kill that. I set myself up to die just to see if I can reverse it and get up again. Like the guy said, he said, Mr. Brinkley, you're amazing. You've been dead 3 times. I said, hey, I'm even more amazing. I've been alive 4. That's when it gets interesting. You know, mine's a big stack of paper. Medical universities. You know, you mess with me, you in a hum. Like, let's say, here's something even more funnier. I got to download it, excuse me. Well, guys, what I'm trying to get you to is the fact that everything that you've ever been afraid of never was true anyway. And everything that you want to do is yours to be able to do. I've got it downloaded. Just give me a minute. Yeah, this is the 2880. Well, I'll find it in a minute. So when you have this panoramic life review, you got to also remember this. How many times you say hello to somebody? How many times did you say, how you doing? How many times did you appreciate just one little tiny thing about someone else's life? How many times today have you spoken to someone or said hello or opened the door? 1,000 times more than you've ever done anything wrong. You're structured into a sense that what you do bad is what your controlling mechanism, and you don't have a place other than it makes you feel good to do what's really right spiritually. When you love somebody and you say hello or you help somebody, that feeling you get is spirituality, the divine order by which you have come, reflecting back what they're feeling. That's not your feeling. That makes you feel good and a tear comes to your eye. That's there. That's you feeling them connect to the world. Not your brain, not your intellect. But when your heart opens, and for the right reason, because this person needs my empathy, it needs my care, it needs a time, no matter what else I've got going on. Like you who run the machines. This person needs me to have a deep breath. This person needs me to be able to diagnose the best I know how, that they can balance and center again, so that a miracle happens in their life by them being able to know how to balance a part of them that no other medical system tells them exists, and that there is life after death. There is. Because after that first panoramic life review, I couldn't dig it. I couldn't handle it. But that part of my life was done. I couldn't come back and change any of it. It was done. So all you need to learn right now is add a couple of more hellos. Add a couple of more thank you. And mean it. Why? Because you're going to get to feel that person being thankful. I am not some great, heroically, religiously, spiritually evolved person. But I don't know how many times they have to kill you before you figure it out. But I'm talking to you too about an art form, not some philosophical theory. An art form that I could raise me from the dead against whatever odds they throw at me. How? I'm a hospice volunteer. I go to the bedside of exactly what I know, and I can stay alive. I give what I most needed to receive. And when God couldn't come today, and you in this world of transition, and you call me, that's my place on this earth. Because that's where I at my greatest and at my best, one-on-one on that bedside with that veteran. No matter where he's been in his life, no matter what else the hell he's been doing, no matter how crazy he is, or whatever's wrong with him. He came out of the depression, he fought the greatest war, went to hell, came back, became our moms and dads, built the greatest industrialized nation in the world, and 50 years later, he's sitting and rotting in some VA. And I am an American, I am a Marine, and I love this country, and I love the freedom that this country stands for, and every single one of us owe a debt to a veteran. If you can walk around in this country, you ain't been to see one, then you should take a real good look at yourself. And where I make the most difference as a veteran and a soldier, right there at that bedside. And I can make his life have value and worth, and let him begin his panoramic life review, and let me understand that what I know about it. And have built this organization where people love to go and be with people dying because of what they get out of it using the techniques I teach. You'll all become the weirdest people in the neighborhood, because as soon as somebody's going to start to die, you can't wait to get there. Can't wait. That's how I exist. And when God couldn't come today, and God sent me as a veteran, and I sit right there, I know everything he's going through. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how to do it. And I am recognized I just got nominated for the Heart of Hospice Award. And it's given every 4 years, and it's the greatest honor. You hospice people in here, you know what that is. It's the greatest. It is it. It's the pinnacle. And I am so proud. The 292 veterans. That's how you live, everybody. That's how you make your difference, and you can find it in your own neighborhood. And as you get ready to go toward the end of your life each day, you can't wait, because you get to feel all the smiles and happiness. That veteran sees God. Just happens to be me. Sees his honor and his pride and his respect because he fought and served and gave me the right to be free. 34,470 leave this world every 30 days. Next year it goes to 42,000. Year after that it goes to 44,900. It'll stay that way for 9 years. The VA system will collapse. What are they going to do to him then? Kill him? This is a call. Power. Those are the heavenly host. If you know what I know, and we go on a war footing in this country. Anybody thinks this country isn't going on a war footing with the Arab-Israeli situation? You're nuts. If you think that gas ain't going to be $6 a gallon if we're not careful. Iraq, Israel, Palestinians, refugees, give me a break. There's no religion that doesn't discuss it. The settlement of Jerusalem. Hello. You dawn in the millennium. 2,000 years. Hello. What we are doing tonight is setting up a perfect system of diagnostics through the entire bodies and committing to help a soldier. To go visit one, send him a Valentine card. Those guys passing from this world to the next world, they can work back over here. And they know what war is, and they know what 50 years later is, and how much bull it was. And they can form a legion called the Heavenly Host. They can come back over and do business. Because they have the will, the power, and the yearning to get back here if we go there to be with them. And if you want to have somebody fight on your side, go help that one. He's fighting for his life, scared to death in that place. Equal to where he fought, so you can walk around here, have the opinions you got. You somebody then. Really somebody. Really somebody. And you'd own it. Belong to you. This country. When in the course of events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bond that connects them one with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth just and equal stations by which the law of nature and nature's God entitles them, are all endowed with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what they defended. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, secure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution and then the Bill of Rights. That's what they fought for. Do you use any of those? Does that affect you anywhere in your life? Been to see one? That's where you fish or you cut bait down home. And I'll bet you this. When you figure out how tight I put this trap on you, you will laugh. Because you see, according to the Panoramic Life Review, this will be one of the greatest nights of your life. I have Compassion in Action. Then I have a women's abuse program that I have sponsored for 12 years. That one night a week in a military town, abused women, military perspective, can come. If you can pay, okay, and if you can't. And then I feed children. Abused women's shelter, and I feed children. So, using the Panoramic Life Review, and I already got your money. I got your money already. I already been paid. So part of your money this night goes to Compassion in Action. And part of it goes to the women's abuse program. And part of it goes to feed children. And ain't a damn thing you can do. Nothing. So tonight, these sacred breaths that you breathe in as deep as the wholeness of all your being. And that we're breathing them for the people we love. You made a spiritual, physical, emotional, ethereal, material, and financial commitment to the people 81, 61, and 100%. And when this day passes before your life, you will feel a veteran, safe. A woman won't get beat. And if something happens, she has a place to turn that will deal with the government agencies for her and will beat and fight for her. And some little kids will get to eat. And there is nothing you can do. And I'm going to add one other thing. A little baby asleep. A little child will sleep in peace. Maybe a crack baby or preemie. Because we came here tonight to do something extraordinary, which I'll tell you about it, with extraordinary people. Good old Southern folks, you know. And so, somewhere, a part of you, a little child, will be safe. And I got your money. So you either accept that you're great, dynamic, powerful spiritual beings, and in this part of your Panoramic Life Review, and you empower yourself with this moment, or you don't. But there ain't crap you can do. You're done. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house I took you. So once, I'm not finished yet, man. I got a few more minutes. I'm taking them whether you want me to or not. You don't mind if I talk a few more minutes, right? All right. When you get past all this hero saving the world stuff, you move into higher levels of digital spiritual consciousness. I'm telling you guys, what allows you when you go through the part of the Panoramic Life Review and all that kind of stuff is wide open again. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. I went to these places that I call the Crystal Cities, where I saw the device that's here. I saw the equipment, and the next thing will be photon energy. What will happen is light will become the healing tool, and that water or the agents that's being used will become light sensitive in the body. And there will be a light that transmits through the body that instantly balances instead of 6 drops under your tongue. Gloria drives you crazy. When she call you up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and says, you put them 7 drops under your tongue? Gloria, if you don't do that. And she rats me out. If I haven't. So, on the other side, guys, multiple dimensions. True. Now, a lot of people are met by loved ones. If you've ever loved somebody and they've ever loved you, a pet, a plant, it'll all be there. People go to their whole gardens, their whole homes. If you're a plant lover, you have every chrysanthemum and every rose bush. It'll all be up there messing with you. If you ever had a dog, a puppy, cat, parakeets, all there. It's not in exactly the way that it was the little feathered thing, but you know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it is. If you've ever given love and received love, it's there. But I'm going to give you an idea of what kind of child I was growing up. I've been over there 3 times and ain't no relative come to meet me yet. Now, what I'm trying to show you is my relationship with my spiritual nature that I've gained through 3 experiences. And if you can see me, just like you, I don't have any pretenses about, and I call it just like I see it. We are the same. And look at the person that's up here. I love this life I have, and it's hard. Like for a lot of us, a lot of pain, a lot of problems. But I do it because it's a profession, and I'm proud that I was chosen, and I'm proud I had sense enough to choose. And as I explored all of that, they gave me a job to do that would incorporate all of this equipment into a program that would be accepted by the world, that there was life after death. Now, you think that doesn't sound like a bunch of hooey? Think about that. People say that I would be able, that they said that I could come and create it. Well, I'm about to get the National Institute for Health to fund a program in the VA to take my 7-part center and test it on veterans, World War II veterans. That the center will be tested under an NIH grant and the VA in 2 VAs under those protocol that a veteran going through this center program that's step by step in my book will leave this world 17 to 22% faster than a person who doesn't go through it, because I eliminate the fear of death. They see their mothers, they talk to their friends, they go to other galaxies. I don't know where all that stuff is. But I save, and if you figure it's 70 cents of every dollar in health care, it's about an $80 million a month program that'll save. And I am doing it. I'm not talking about it. 25 years in the campaign, everybody. I got it from the dead to do exactly what they told me to do, and I'm right there. Compassion in Action is in 17 VAs. Now, when you come to deal with end-of-life care, nobody is with more veterans than my people. Nobody. I'm doing it, just like I said 25 years ago. Every day. Why? I'm going to be over there a whole lot longer than I'm going to be over here. And I don't want that crowd to be aggravating me. They might want to send me back. Because they sent me back. And not only did they send me back, they sent me back to a hospital floating in a hallway. I not only had to get up and save the world, I had to find that stupid body and figure out how to get back in it. How many of you know how to get back in a body? What, did you think they got the directions on the hill? And the last time I saw the sucker's a little stiff. See the things that run through your mind when you're dead? Well, I found it. I didn't know how to get back in it. Till I saw this elevator door open and these 2 guys with these white coats come, but I'd seen enough Quincy's by then that I knew I better figure out how to get back in it. You know, that pathologist crowd, old Quincy, come down me seeing what killed me, struck by lightning, but they want to know what was in my stomach. And I got back in that body and I got up and I went to work. And I'll move fast now, everybody. I went to work. And I started doing what I believed was the greatest effort that I could put forth in building these centers and doing what I was doing, steady no matter what happened. And one afternoon, 14 years had passed. 14 years. See, this isn't like a story that's a week. 14 years. I thought in 1989 they had the Hong Kong flu. I'll hurry. I know you got to pee, but I'm going to get it out, and I don't care. If you got to go, get up and go. You ain't worrying me. What? just us. And look, we're laughing, everybody, with family, because we're really here for the reasons we said we were here. Feel the comfort in this room. Comfort, sacred, divine. We're here for the reasons we say we're here. It's a safety place for all of us. And I can back it up. So about 14 years had passed. That's not me. About 14 years passed. They had the Hong Kong flu epidemic. Really bad, 1989. I thought I had the Hong Kong flu. I'm sitting on the couch, sweating like a pig, fighting for my breath. I finally go over to the doctor, walk over to the emergency room. You know, get me some dope, pop a few pills. Hope I certainly won't have to find Gloria. I mean, them drops of water that I put under my tongue. And man, when you guys who are visitors get into this art form, you better drink your drops of water. Or Gloria will call you and drive, or if Spence, or in this fool, or drive you crazy. So I go over there and you know how many people, when you go to the emergency room, you write your first book. You know, if you go to a hospital and you don't have any insurance, you will write your first book. And people say, well, Dannion, what do you mean you didn't have any insurance? No, I don't have insurance. Why? When you go to file for insurance and they ask if you have any preconditions and you list dead as a precondition. I keep those turkeys busy, have you noticed? So I go in the back room. I don't know I'm dying. Here comes Doogie Howser. Right? You know, I'm 40, I'm like 40 years old. Then he got a little internist, got little glasses on. He hadn't shaved, don't have to shave it once a week. And an internist, they work him to death. He comes up and he's treated 100 people doing the same thing I'm doing, Hong Kong flu. He's talking to me, looking at me, and he says, well, okay, Mr. Brinkley. He said, you want to sit down? I said, no, doc, because I don't think I can stand back up. He said, well, listen, I think I can handle it. Let's see. And he put his little stethoscope in. He put it to my heart, and he looked at his watch. His eyes got about that big. He started breathing like me. He said, I'll be back in a second. He comes back, and he says, Mr. Brinkley, do you want me to tell you the truth? And I said, fool, I just paid $275 to come back here. You think I can't get somebody to lie to me cheaper than that? These are true stories, everybody. I mean, this is true. You see the personality. He said, you have flu. He said, you have pneumonia in your left lung. He said, but you're in heart failure. You'll be dead in 45 minutes. I said, well, damn, doc, you reckon I ought to sit down? I said, what time you got? Let's synchronize our watches. 45 minutes. Now you're talking, son. True story. True story. I refused to have the surgery. I refused. No. 45 minutes. I keel over. I wake up. This guy's shaving the hair off my toes. I said, what you doing? What time is it? Where's that live doctor? Where's my watch at? Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. They shave the hair off a lot of stuff. Laugh if you want to. But for the ladies, please bear with me, but I'd like to tell you something. There's two things I learned in the near-death experience about women. Ladies, I know what a hot flash is like. But there's something I want to truly thank you for. Bikini lines. How do y'all keep us from catching you scratching? I know it itches. Don't try to scam the kid. I don't know how we can keep from catching, and I study it. Y'all slick. So well, if we ain't going to die, and none of us are going to hell, we might as well do something for 2 hours. Love each other. And the more I make you laugh, the deeper you breathe, and the greater divinity comes on this earth to protect our loved ones. A little baby, and I'll tell you all that story in just a moment. Where are we? Colorado Springs boy. His beautiful wife, and the brains behind the outfit. So these doctors come in, and my dad comes in. My dad says, it's tough. I said, Daddy, where's my watch? These 3 doctors come in, and I said, Daddy, either these guys got something really serious to tell me, or they all missed a payment on something. Woo! 2 of them started laughing. One of them didn't think I was taking my death just as serious enough to suit him. I didn't have a problem. I told him, I said, you know, Doc, the only difference between God and a doctor is God never thinks he's a doctor. You don't impress me, and you damn sure don't scare me. He said, well, here's what we're going to have to do. You got staph infection, which settled on your heart and has eaten your aortic valve. We're going to have to cut you open and go in and take your heart and cut it open and either put a pig's valve in, or we're going to have to put a prosthesis valve in. The pig's valve we replace every 7 years. The prosthesis valve was guaranteed for 35. And he said, then we're going to sew you back up because of the damage of the lightning. We're going to have to come and cut this muscle out of your back and wrap around your heart and put a pacemaker in. You only lose 60% of the movement of the left side of your body. I'm 40 years old. I look at Dad and I said, Dad, I finally figured out what doctors did before they became doctors. They was heroin addicts. Because these sons of bitches are crazy. True story. And Daddy looked and he says, well, what you think we ought to do? I said, Daddy, I want to be cremated. You can't send me back if you cremate me. That crowd thinks they slick. See my relationship with my spiritual world? They're a blast. And I just torment them. Oh, do I have a good time. And I said, Daddy, what I want you to do, I want you to get some hash and mix my ashes with it and let everybody smoke me at my funeral. We'll see you, Dad. Can't you see it in the Inquirer? And Raymond Moody came, and he talked me out of it. I've gotten even with him since then. I don't think he's talked to me in the last couple of years. But I got him back. No, Raymond Moody is somebody we all owe a great moment of love and respect to. Because without him, we would never have the term NDE, Near Death Experience. And we would never have a non-religious, non-medical event that we could bounce off everything we've ever been told. The near-death experience is because of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The medical profession brought spirituality into mainstream life, not the church. Medicine. And they hate every day of it. Why do I say? 72% of all scientists believe that if you believe in God, you can't do good science. 52% of all those scientists are the doctors you put your mom and dad and brothers and sisters and friends in their hands. 52%. 92% of all doctors will not refer a patient to hospice. They torture them absolutely to death and tell you palliative and qualitative end-of-life care. Listen to me, guys. We have a fight on our hands, but we came to fight it. So I decided to have this surgery, and they gave me these 2 shots in the hip. And you know, they say that they just make you relax so you go into the surgery. That stuff will relax you to Pakistan. Mr. Brinkley, how you doing? And everything went black. And the next thing I know, I'm floating in this blue-gray place. And I roll over and I see this silver thing. Wasn't no UFO. I looked around behind it, and I'm in this green outfit. Little head on, little guy up there with his mask. And the only part was open was this space right here. And this woman was painting it brown. Everything's going pretty good. This cat steps up and cuts me from right here to right here. Clamps my skin back. Man, that's pretty interesting. Then he cut me again. Then I heard this sound. Bzzz. Bzzz. This fool steps up and hooks this thing right here and saws my chest open. And he put this little deal in there and he turned these little knobs and my neck, my chest spread open. You know your heart's not shaped like that? It's like in a bag, it's like sealed for freshness. I'd never seen open heart surgery before. And that guy stuck his hand up under my heart, put this little plate, and it went. And I felt an explosion. an expansion of myself. And he took my heart out, and he cut that sucker open. Now, I don't care how brave you are. I don't care how many times you've been dead. I don't care how tough you think you are, how spiritual you think you are. When you see him cut your heart open, I'll tell you what I thought. All right. Ain't no way I'm going to live through this. I'm out of here. Yes, sirree. That tunnel forming, I eased down that tunnel. I came in that place of bright, brilliant, beautiful light, and holy mackerel. Home again. I could see layers and dimensions, things that were there the first time, but I just didn't see them. I didn't have time when I was struck by lightning. I had 14 years before the second one. What I had to think about and how to evolve and what I could do and what to think about if I even was going to have one or, thinking back through the years and watching the equipment, the new place that we're here tonight, that our hearts are donning a system. Not our minds. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Love is the power. You can love and hand somebody a blank piece of paper. And if you're breathing and you're focused and you set your structure of your panoramic life with you, when they take that piece of paper, that heart will roll. Try it with a Valentine card. Try it. What February the 14th is. It's one of the greatest days ever created. That you can send your love on a piece of paper. And the movement of it collectively on the earth. I draw 50% of my life force from Thanksgiving. I draw 32% from Thanksgiving and roughly 32 to 43% from Valentine's Day. And I take full moons, pacing each full moon. And I usually draw most of the nature of how I'm going to change on the fall, on the winter equinox, depending on the degree of energy I need at the planetary alignment and the nature of where I am and where I'm centering on. One thing you learn about being dead, everybody, I'm not dumb as you think I appear. The conversation and the style that I teach it is different from me. I've learned that love is an art and also science. And I've learned more how to receive it and quit worrying about giving it. Because when I give it, it always ends up me trying to judge whether it is the fact that somebody had an opinion or they appreciated it correctly as opposed to what I thought it was when I originally sent it. And I want y'all to get over that too, because y'all do that same crap. There is no one who can determine the value of your love except someone who has nothing to give back but theirs. That's it. You can find that only two places. You can find it at the birth side, with a mama having a baby, with husband's gone, a cracked baby, those tough times, first breath on this earth, and helping that family. Or you can find it in a hospice and a nursing home, where they got nothing to give back but their love, and they so thankful you came. That's who you really are. And you want to go measure to see who else, anybody else is in your life? Go measure yourself by go giving of yourself, where there is nothing to come back for you except the moment you gave that holy divine being, frightened, afraid, alone, and only facing death. And the guy coming around keep telling me, going to hell, better be saved. And you just go to see what you could see and see the difference. A quiet, loving friend patting you on the hand, maybe a little aromatherapy, maybe a little therapeutic touch. You know what a baby's like when a baby gets held? The greatest moment a person can have is when this is your hand and that little tiny hand wraps around it. And it's been laying in that incubation and laying in that bed, and mama's gone, she's drunk somewhere. Go over to a foster home. This is where real life is. Take them to the movie. Children drive me crazy. Oh, and them cracked babies screaming suckers. I like people got good sense. I can talk to them. Them babies I can't work with. But a lot of people can. I got me two set up right for it, right back here. Baby protectors. So this is how you find your true self. Because when I had my next Panoramic Life Review, the first 25 years was just as rotten as the first time I saw it. But that next 14 years, I had learned how to say thank you and love people and open the door and do some really neat stuff. And I'm going to tell you one and then 5 more minutes, and I swear I'll leave you alone. I was walking down the street going to do a show in New York, and it was cold. And there were these 4 or 5, I can't quite remember, bag ladies with their little push carts. And these guys harassing them. And they had their little carts pulled together. And they had to be in their late 50s and early 60s, holding these thugs off. I picked me up a 2x4, and I eased on back, and I just couldn't wait for this part of the Panoramic Life Review. I knew I was going to enjoy a good butt whipping. And if I had to have one, because it's intent, I was protecting them. I could beat them suckers to death and get away with it, because the intent was to protect those ladies. Well, I whopped that first one a good one too, boy. He never even saw it coming. I mean, oh, it was beautiful. Made me remember the old days, you know. I had a flashback of when the good times were. And then I got a second one. The third one got away, and me and my girls, we went and valet parked them shopping carts. I took them into a Chinese restaurant, and I knew they was having fun at the buffet. I knew they were having fun. I just didn't know how much till I was dead again. They were in the bathroom washing their hair and their hands and washing out their underwear and stuff, and one's keeping a watch because the guys would throw them out, but I was paying for it. And they were my dates. And they would strut back and forth to the bathroom, and I didn't get it then, everybody, you know. I didn't get it until it passed before me, and I got to feel the joy that they were feeling because somebody cared about them and loved them. And it was an hour and a half out of my life, but in my Panoramic Life Review, it was a century, a millennium. And I got to watch and feel and be all that joy. This is the power. This is the dance. Why you do what you do is because you're doing it to and for you. And when you're looking at that person, in my life, the difficulty was, how was I going to love this person before I knock them out? And I had a hard time. You know what the toughest thing for me to do is to be nice all day. You teach best what you need most to learn. And I swear to God, I try so hard. It is so hard to be nice all day because I am such a prick. You know? Oh, God. I called on this radio show, and this lady, she said, you know, Mr. Brinkley, you got kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality. I said, well, I know everything about Mr. Hyde. That was the bad guy. I said, this is Dr. Jekyll I'm trying to figure out. I said, but I formed an organization called JAA, Jackasses Anonymous. And I just take it one day at a time. And all I can tell you is so far today, I hadn't been a jackass. And I said, you know what the only thing that brings me any pleasure out of that lady is? She says, no. I said, the day is still young. So as I explored the next near-death experience in the Panoramic Life Review, I went to a higher level of understanding the centers and this equipment. The cell energy of oxygen. This equipment, your breath, is the control power of your disease, your health, your breathing, the regularity of your breathing, why you were breathing, and how you handle your nutrition is the key to harmony and balance. I get up in the morning with what I call spiritualistic capitalism. Because I got up this morning, an old man won't die alone. A child to eat, and a woman will have a place to go in trouble. And whatever else I have to put up with by watching 2 planes get canceled. And I left Miami this morning at 8 o'clock to get here at 6 o'clock. And I had to change planes 2 times. And when you think about that, and that aggravating, and 2 hours in this, but to get to you, because I got your money in my pocket. And that means in your Panoramic Life Review, a child will sleep, a mom will be able to get her some rest, a soldier won't die alone, an abused woman won't get abused, and a child will eat. And I'd have walked here. Well, I'd have stole a car. And I came back. And now the last one. And then I swear, Spence, I'll sit down. 1997. I founded Compassion in Action. I got on an airplane, and that airplane hit 35,000 feet, and I blew a subdural hematoma right here. Pow! A blood vessel. I had met my match. There is no pain like that kind of pain. There is no pain like that. There's no pain. And I stayed in that plane for 4 hours, and when I got down, because I have to take rat poison, Dacumarol, because my blood, I had a prosthesis valve put in. I live off, want to see how cool God is? Isn't this apropos? What keeps me alive is rat poison and snake venom. And Gloria and then damn drop. Conventional medicine saved my life. This kind of medicine, complementary and alternative therapies, keep me alive. Conventional medicine saved my life. Complementary and alternative therapeutic modalities keep me alive. And that's part of what brought me here too. And I got off that plane, and when I got off that plane, I couldn't stand. And my dad said, take him to the hospital. Now I'm 47 years old. And they said that I had blown a subdural hematoma, and when they stabilized me, they could figure out no way to make my blood has to stay so thin because my heart is so weak. If you guys understood who's standing here before you, you wouldn't be able to figure out like I do those doctors. They can't figure out how in the world I'm still alive. They gave me an 8% chance to survive. They were going to cut my head open, take this part of my skull away, and do open heart surgery. Because my blood has to be so thin to pump through my heart. And it's so thin that I'd bleed to death during the surgery. And if the surgery was successful, it would clot. You have 9 to 17 clots that form because of the surgery. And if any one of those clots would get to my heart, it would kill me instantly. What's your odds? None. None. So after about 8 or 9 days of that crap, they came in and finally told me. And they said, well, what do you want to do? I said, check me out of this sucker. It's on the records. I said, check me out of this sucker. I'm out of here. I'm going to have me a shrimp dinner And I'm going to sit at the beach and watch the sunset. And when I'm done with this body, I get some people to bring it back over here because I ain't putting up with this. You think I'm going to sit and die in a stupid hospital room? What's wrong with you people? Y'all nuts? I'm going to get out at the beach. It's Charleston, South Carolina. If y'all never been to Charleston, take a trip and you'll understand. I had the finest shrimp dinner, everybody. I sat down on the beach and I blew a second subdural hematoma. Boom! Figured I better ease on back up to the hospital. So the doctor came in and he says, I don't know why it's so calm in here because I'm listening to Stephen Halpern music. I'm calm. I got a big old aura chart. I got enough aromatherapy and them damn drops, Gloria. I'm putting some under my arms. You know, I'm having the best time of that crap of Gloria's. I got these charts. See, Spence, see what you started? And I got this chart, and I'm enduring pain that they couldn't figure out why it didn't kill me. You can't live up under that kind of pain. But I had to know where I was. You know, I couldn't take this stuff. I had to know where I was because if I was going to die, I mean, it's just how I am. I'm going to explore it, and I'm going to hold out. You know, I've found a reverence about myself. But I hope tonight you find we are glorious. We are what greatness is about. Because we make a difference every day in the lives of ourselves and the people around us. We just don't appreciate ourselves because we keep looking for some other chump to do it. Well, they in a nursing home. They in a crack baby ward. They over at the VA. And then you can measure anybody by that. I can tell you how long I'll deal with it. And people who know me in business anyway, I'll just listen to it about 3 minutes. And then I can measure exactly what they are. And I don't care what they have or what they have to offer. I'm out of there. Or I'm there forever. Now, I have no problems about it. Because if you don't take a stand about the value of your love in this next movement, it will be so manipulated. It'll be so manipulated. And it'll be from a religious factor and a condemnation factor of what you won't tithe and what you won't do to supplement the government. It's coming. It's coming. You know, everybody, I have a real job. I'm a defense consultant for Admiral Zumwalt Consulting. I'm a senior advisor on military procurement. And I've been in this game for 28 years. And I read and memorize federal budgets. I know where the money goes, how it goes, when it goes that way, how you get it, what you do with it. And that's what people pay me to do because I've been around. There's a cosmic side of me, but there's a side that memorizes regulations, implementation, specifications, and enforcement. So I'm telling you, it's where it's going. And so when I sat there and I got back to that hospital, the doctor comes in and he says, Dannion, I'm going in Wednesday. He said, if you don't let me just drain it, you're dead by Wednesday afternoon. He said, you won't even make it till 7 o'clock Wednesday. I started laughing. That was Monday, September the 15th. He said he was going in on September the 17th at 7:05 a.m., 1997, during a thunderstorm, and he said he had to go in or I wouldn't live till 7 o'clock that evening. He didn't know Dannion's story. I knew it. I started laughing at Spirit. Ain't them suckers funny? Hi, Dan, we're going to kill you again, but we're going to make it interesting for everybody. Struck by lightning September 17th at 7:05 p.m. 1975. No control over whatsoever. The neurosurgeon. I'm going in September 17th at 7:05 a.m. 1997 on a Wednesday during a thunderstorm because I wouldn't live till 7 o'clock Wednesday night. Now, I don't know if y'all get high off of that, but I got pretty high off of it. And what I saw in that night in the room, guys, was this blue and silver light. And for the first time, I could let the pain lessen. And I could think to organize my life because I thought my time had come and gone. That's too tight. You know, that is just too tight for me to think I'm going to survive. And I better put my stuff in order and I better settle my issues. My dad, he comes in the room. He says, isn't this one of them Deja things? And my dad's 80 years old, right? And I started laughing. I said, Daddy, if you don't stop laughing because my head hurt so bad. And in this light was blue and silver. In this room was blue and silver light. Art Bell had gone on the radio, and he had turned to everybody to pray for me. I have seen the power of prayer. I have seen it. I did not know this was occurring. I did not know what the blue-silver light was, but I knew my head didn't hurt. And 5.5 million people logged on every day, and people were asking to pray for me, and all over the world people were praying. And I got a chance to catch a breath. I got a chance after days and days to stop and just have my moments with my own life. My own life. And I said, okay. Because if I did die, I would fight to come back. Because if whatever my message was, and whatever I'd done in the last 22 years, if it meant that much to people throughout the world, and I sold millions of books, guys, and, if you deal with death in the United States of America, you will cross my path in any level. Esoteric all the way down to hospice, and I just testified before the White House Commission on End-of-Life Care. And I testified before House Oversight Committees, Senate Oversight Committees on reform, because I'm on the front line. And I study protocol, medicine. They don't move, and I'm not on them. I read 6,000 pages of information a week on an average. I'm obsessed. What can I tell you? I have to know. So I'm not exactly, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. But you better be dancing when you come at me. And you better have both pistols loaded, and they better be butt line specials. And I tell that to the government. I tell it to the National Institute for Health, to the VA. I don't care who they are. What they going to do, kill me? So, one of the greatest discoveries of the history of the world was discovered when I had this surgery. They discovered I had a brain. And how they discovered it is this is it running out of the side of my head. And I'll show y'all something else. After I had the surgery, 41 hours later, I had a third subdural hematoma blow straight through my frontal lobe. I had a massive grand mal seizure, and this is what I look like dead. I'm going to walk this, this is this person that we're talking about. I'll come up this side, guys. Not a poem. It's a real life story about a real life person, just like real life people in your own life. And that little red bag, this is my brains running out of the side of my head, and that's what these red bags are. Real life events about real life people. Aren't I cute, Dad? Such a charmer. A picture says 1,000 words. Real life person dying. Don't tell me what to do. Really happening, everybody. And this is the most important thing I'm going to tell you. When they shaved my head, the first thing, when they gave me those shots and put me up on the surgery table, they gave me that shot and put this mask on. And the moment they put the mask on me, I am standing facing the back of the the operating room. I have a toenail torn off from a kid, so I knew it was my foot. Here is the assistant, and here is the neurosurgeon, and they're shaving my head. The first thing I thought was, you know they only shave half? Now how dumb is that? When your hair's growing out and it's bald here, I mean, why don't you shave it all off? That's the first thing I thought until I heard that guy drill this hole in my head. I was struck by lightning right here. The first hole they drilled was right here. Hi, Dan. Let's try a little bit, son. Let's give the drummer some. And then they drill one here, drill one here. But what happened was, I was standing and watching dimensions. I wasn't at the tunnel, everybody. The place I had twice been, which was the blue-gray area, had dimensions. I now know what discarnates are. I now know what earthbound spirits are. I now know what ghost and poltergeist are. Because of where religions and institutions and governments, we first had God Almighty, and then we formed the church. The church turned out to be lying, and then we became Protestants, protesters. And then we found it had flaws. And we developed a new God, the God of science. And that God we worshiped, because it gave us the ability to eat of the forbidden fruit and to know and have knowledge. And then we developed a third God, medicine. And they have their priest and their royalty, the AMA. And we got confused. So if you were a World War II guy, you come out of Nebraska in the 30s, Dust Bowl where the family scraped, stuck together, wore each other's shoes when somebody had to go somewhere. The family listened to the radio, the finest, just what America was about. You went to World War II and you freed Buchenwald and you came home and you've been drunk ever since. You freed Auschwitz. You had to go back home to Nebraska, never sleep another night. And you 50 years later, and you lying in that bed, and you see where you were left. You think he's going to go up through the tunnel? He has nothing to hold on to. Look at our friends, crack and junkies, heroin and lunatic shit, things happening. You think they just going to drift off and go straight to the tunnel? I'm telling you something, guys. We're here because we have to have a spiritual identity of ourselves. And when you sit down beside the bedside of that friend or loved one, your divinity will guide them safely to the tunnel. And maybe because you've had this conversation, they'll pick one up like them, somewhere stuck in those in-between levels. And if we don't do this, our great-grandchildren or great-great-grandchildren will be clogging those pipes, everybody. That energy must come from that side through the system that we know as the tunnel, through these ethereal levels. I believe this equipment, and I believe the test of the diagnostics that's going on, are working in those spheres that as we find how to align and balance all our bodies, those ethereal beings close to us align and move to the light. I believe that my compassion and action is designed to do and accomplish what those soldiers, why the centers are there, to clean the ranks and to take them on home, because a lot of them are lost. And if you come out to Nam like so many of my friends, and I come out of that era myself, they are screwed up because they saw murderous, horrendous stuff, and they saw the most fake government and the biggest bunch of crap, and then they had to come home. Look where they are. You think they're going to just go down the tunnel? Ain't going to happen, cheesecakes. So tonight we become retrievers. That your breaths this night are helping those people. And every time you help somebody, that same energy will help one in an in-between world. we pass into that world. Because you have breathed enough divine breaths and you have laughed enough joy that we have been heard. We have been heard this night. Our laughter and love in the face of death, horror, or what frightens us was our spiritual belief in that there is a life after death, there is love, a great, powerful, loving place for all of us. This is a job, and a panoramic life review is all we're working on how to have. And you have it by waking up in the morning and giving a damn. Caring about something other than just yourself and just getting through the day, hoping nobody makes you mad, happy, or hurts your feelings. Caring about the fact that if God couldn't come today, look for the situations that God might be of assistance. And mostly it's not getting into fights. It's not arguing with people. And they will laugh. And look what you've done to the next person they talk to. And you will feel that when your life passes before you. Think about what I do with my life. It keeps me alive. It gives me a certain vibrancy. I hope that you see it. It gives me a sense of humor. It gives me a place where I think everything's funny and everybody else is funny. And I think that you just look like little bundles of love to me. Just little bundles of love waiting to explode into something beautiful like 4th of July, like with a big firecracker thing. That's what you look like to me. And I see waves of love and beauty when I look out at you. So tonight, we have begun again. We have held true for now almost, 3 hours? How long? Damn, I'm getting too weak because I only give time for questions. But for 2 solid hours, we held our ground. And most of you didn't even move. Didn't move. Why? Trained, disciplined troops. You meant it when you came here. You meant when I set the standard of what we were doing here, you did not move. You held your breath. You didn't fidget. You didn't scramble. I'm watching every one of you. You held the ground. That's who you are. That's what you are. And you proved it again. 2 hours didn't move. You held. You loved. You hoped. You dreamed. You inspired yourself. That's greatness. You help children. You help soldiers. I mean, what more could one night we could be asked of that we haven't stepped up to the plate and done? Nothing. And if this is the first day we ever decided all to get together and do it, we kicked ass, if you want to know the truth about it. I got you checked. So in closing, and also beginning, I hope that each of you take upon yourself to become miracle workers. And a miracle worker is someone that amazes themselves as they explore their spirituality. Please don't leave here without picking up a brochure about this organization. And you that's in this organization, be very proud that you do this because you are in search of miracles. The amazing part of the human spiritual nature, of the healing power of our ethereal selves. It all starts somewhere else before it gets here. And if we're not breathing properly, it's going to get here. It's going to get here. Please, give a value to your breath as sacred as you've given to the value of my breath this night. And the world changes. The world changes. As close as I could get to a religious passage. The divine spirit does not reward or punish you. They have given you the power to reward or punish yourself by the use or misuse of your own reason and willpower. If you transgress the laws of health, prosperity, and wisdom, you must inevitably suffer from sickness, poverty, and ignorance. However, you should strengthen your mind and refuse to carry the burden of mental moral weakness acquired in the past years. We have stopped that. Let yourselves go, everybody. We've done enough good work today to give ourselves a break. But burn them in the fires of the present divine resolution and right activity. That we let it all go, and we have breathed holy. And we have truly done it. And we burn a fire that laughter was the cinders. The laughter we had at making fun of everything that ever thought it could frighten us as we had to face taking care of who we loved, who loved us, who we had as our friends, and who had us as their friends, and ourselves. And burn them in the fires of your present activities. By this constructive attitude, you will find freedom. Happiness depends to some extent on external conditions, but chiefly on mental, emotional attitude. In order to be happy, one should have a good health, well-balanced mind, a prosperous life, a right work, and a thankful heart. And above all, the wisdom and knowledge of knowing you are truly a part of all that is divine. I swear to you, on all things I know to be holy, these things are true. We are co-creators. We seek to be healthy as window panes. Not the light that shines, nor the warmth that enters the earth on a beautiful August day, but just a window pane, a means by which that light can pass. And the cleaner and purer that light is, the more divine grace and love that can come on this earth. And all we're trying to do is do a little window cleaning tonight. And I think we did. Thank you. Yay! He finally shut up! Oh, wow, thank you. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. I did do pretty good, didn't we? All right. I can take a couple of questions. Everybody can leave and go. I'm done. You want to answer questions about anything? I'd like everybody. I mean, I don't have to do anything. I can quit now. But if somebody had a question that I could help tend it, I will take those questions because I have to mess with Terry. Yes, ma'am?
Well, when you were in the spirit world,
yeah.
You died.
Yeah. Which time?
Any of them.
Okay. Just checking. Okay.
Did you have like an physical appetite where you were hungry? Did you ever,
if I wanted to.
food or anything?
If I wanted to. When you hit the crystal cities and once you've completely cleansed and your job is done and it's closed off, you can go anywhere. I mean, food is not... I have more a quest to understand how the emotional and mental self operates. So my dynamic would take me to mental, emotional situations. But you can eat. You can create your garden again. You can do whatever you want. It just bores easily. I mean, you bore easily with things that you've already done. But you can recreate it. You do whatever you want. I mean, once you've done your job and you've cleansed and you don't have another assignment, or you don't choose to take another one, then you just go and keep growing and you just keep continuing to educate yourself. But knowledge over there is conceived and perceived. It's not thought. You experience it through your intent to know it. I can know the whole ocean. Let's say that my body's 68% water, and you can't tell the difference between me and 240 pounds of water, seawater. Same chemistry, same makeup. Well, I could take that concept and I could evolve that as what I wanted to understand myself and the dynamics, and I could be the whole ocean. Everything in it. Drop by drop. Then the concept of realizing what is the purpose of every drop of water, to get back home to the sea. And it comes over here and it melts. Where's it doing? It's heading home. And it doesn't matter what you think, it's going to get back to the ocean. You ever seen the Grand Canyon? It ain't thinking nothing about what you think about it. Next. Yes, ma'am?
You know Joyce Riley.
Yes.
Okay. I heard her on the radio a couple of weeks ago, and then I spoke to her on the phone this morning, and I was just wondering what you, relative to what you just saying that we had us do regarding Gulf War syndrome and what's really been done and what I'm sure you know.
Gulf War syndrome, swept under the table. Take this thing off here when you talk about that kind of stuff. Everybody knows it was a combination of what was Gulf War syndrome? It was a combination of things. It wasn't stress. How many, what they concluded? Statistics in Gulf War syndrome. How many guys came home with Gulf War syndrome that they could prove right off the bat? 15,000. How many of guys do they estimate have Gulf War syndrome? 100,000. How many family members of veterans who went to war, came home, have Gulf War syndrome? 214,000. How many family members who have pets who have Gulf War syndrome? Roughly 100,000. It's transmutable. It's a combination of spiritually, chemistry, and a lot of things. When you weaken the body with a lot of shots, you make the food that you eat, you tear the patch out, you're smelling germ warfare. Your food cooks itself when you tear the package open. Chemicals in your food that you eat. And you mix those chemicals, you mix the stress, you mix the dynamics of the pills and the shots and the stuff you took, and you anthrax. Then you put you over there, and then you start a bunch of smelling petroleum derivatives of burning oil fields. And you get it. The new, we living in a world of why I wanted to be so strong of coming here with Spence and you guys who are good diagnosticians. Because you will find in the cell memory the events by which to heal more stuff in the next 10 years than you ever could have done in the last 200 if you had the equipment. The energy and the photon levels of light and spirituality are becoming stronger and more powerful now because we're in an age of transition. Within 2014, nothing you believe in about life and death it'll be over. I mean, the veil will be lifted. There will be, in the next 7 years, the fact that there's a life after death will be as common and as natural, and we will return to the process of leaving this world by just quietly lying down. Be out of here. Because you will have this integrated part of keeping your health in balance. And when your job is done and it's time to go, you have a little sickness or something, but it's done. Good night, Irene. Lie down, kiss everybody, and say goodbye. That's how we used to do it. Well, that can come back. One more question, and then we got to quit. Two more.
Do you have any information on Compassion in Action or...
Dannion.com.
Dannion.com?
You don't have to worry. Everybody who came here will get a brochure. I believe that the greatest power, and I will come back here and we will teach a Compassion in Action training. And it's all about, it costs you $20 and it's a long weekend. And it's Dannion.com, and there's a place that you can, Dannion.com, or you can talk to anybody in this organization and they can give you a way to get to it. But I ask you to do this, guys. Go down to a nursing home as a volunteer. And go over to a hospice, because first you're going to find out just how really hard it is to get these people to do right. Then you come and take my training, and I tell you how to get around everything they tell you can't do. One more question. Yes, sir?
So, are the charts of the light bodies and the chakras, traditional understanding, are they
Accurate?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's a series of Russians. I go to Russia in July. Series of Russians that have proven it unequivocally by the development of a Karelian photograph that is so now because of the fine-tuning of computer analysis and high-resolution HD, HD resolution, no question. He's talking about chakras, which is what the chart I was showing most of you know. We have energy bodies, and they each emanate from a certain center called a chakra. These exist. The other thing that exists are meridian points in acupuncture. They exist unequivocally. I see them in people. When I'm watching somebody, I can watch somebody, and I can see the color forms around them. I didn't ever know how you would go about doing it or how the color forms would work, but I know that you can watch a person and watch the color and the tone about where that person is and what they're thinking and what they're doing. Like this young man. You, boy. Yeah. And the way he isn't is in the way is he knows how to deal with friends. Tonight as he was sitting here, he has a couple of friends in the same kind of place where he is, and he sees the calm, loving nature about him, and he doesn't know how to get it across to him, and now he knows how to talk to them and how to help them. Pretty good, huh? You cannot get away once you choose to know the intuitive nature of a person. There are no secrets. I am a legend at mind reading. I mean, I've been whipping them for 25 years. You know, I've been up against everybody you can throw up against me. And I stomped the guts out of them. Because the reason I want is the intent, is the love. I want to inspire people to know that they are the same. And they have the same power. And they don't have to die to have it. You need to want the intent to better the condition of the world around you. If we love the whole world, we have loved ourselves. If we improve the condition of the whole world, we've improved our own condition. And so what you do is you think it first and include yourself. And then the self takes a second part and the power moves faster and quicker through you. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you. Yay!